recording on. So we should left off. We are pretty early on in the game, huh?
あら、前原君に古出さんに北条さん。
Mouth move. Oh well. Let's do.
どうかしましたか?
Oh. That's... She appeared in the middle of a moment of supreme bliss, her mouth full of her beloved curry. And we were to pick a fight with her. What a crime this punishment game would be. However, it was what we had to do. For that was the rule of our club. 3 of us held each other's shoulders tightly once more.
じゃあ行くぜ。
Left right off at the punishment. This is a pretty good stopping point, I believe.
いいか。
いいかじゃありませんわ。
I wanna keep the console right.
圭一さんはおとなしくしてるんですのよ。すべて私と理科でやりますから。私に今だけ命をお預け遊ばせ。ファイト、おーですよ。
Adorable.
あなたたち?
But I hope I'm not yeah, I'm not blocking. See the 2 or 3 question marks popping up above the head. Alright, Satoko. The only time I'll trust you with my life. Because I'll be shutting my eyes tightly and only thinking about what we'll be having for dinner. I'm leaving it to you. Satoko inhaled deeply. And so...
やーい、カレー独身貴族、ニンニク臭いぞ。
What a point to end this. I actually have some hope that they are. In the end, my selfish request was readily granted. As Satoko muttered complaints under her breath, quite merrily, she came with me to the store. Pikachu didn't come with us. She said she had a thing she wanted to do. I believed her when she told me, but when I really thought about it, I started to think maybe she was being considerate towards Satoko in her own way. Without Rika-chan here, Satoko was prouder and more loquacious than ever.
いいですこと?スーパーというものにはタイムサービスというものがあるんですよ。例えば野菜炒めに欠かせない豚肉ももう少し待つと半額にまで下がるんですの。お肉やお魚は鮮度が下がったら売れませんからね。お店も売れ残さないように土壇場では安くしてくれるってわけなんですよ。もちろん百戦錬磨の主婦の皆様もそれを熟知していて、こうしてサービスタイムが近づいてくると
Shopping with how public. I wasn't really listening to her, but she was telling me all this quite proudly. Every time I seemed surprised at something or made an affirmative grunt in the place of conversation, that I would say, "You don't know anything," smile very happily in spite of her complaints. Led me by the hand, all sorts of stalls, one after the other. Was in such a supreme mood that just being there cheered me. Merrily being pulled into Satoko's pace was a lot of fun.
おい、どうせならこっちのお得用パックにしようぜ。お、こっちのチーズ入りにもかなり惹かれるものが。
圭一さんは経済観念が欠落しすぎですわ。ご覧なさいませ。予算オーバー。お金が足りないのですわよ。
Sataka pushed a handful of receipts. Why can't Sataka do these kinds of mental calculations when she's at school?
そう。ノーマルは腹いっぱいたくさん買うか、ワンランク上のチーズ入りをつつましく買うか。これはかなり悩む。
おとなしく量を取りなさいませ。年頃の男の方は質より量を取った方が賢明でしたよ。
サトコは厳しすぎだよ。質も量も両方取りたい。この男心がなぜわからん。
男心でお財布は膨らみませんのよ。まったく。未練がましくガラスに張り付かないんですの。
After enjoying ourselves such a change, we started to hear energetic voices coming from over by the butcher we visited earlier. I have to with my I could see a handful of housewives spotting the place.
いけませんわ。早く行かないと半額豚肉がなくなってしまいますわ。
あいてててててて。引っ張るな。
What a lovely mood. You would barely believe this is a horror.
襟首を引っ張るな。
Tacos really seemed like she was having fun. He looked like a kid who had grabbed her family's hand while running towards an park attraction. In the end, the bag of pork we obtained was so normal that it almost hurt, but knew that it would taste absolute. The cicadas had come out at some point. The Higurashi were singing in chorus. The air was so clear and it felt so good. Our silhouettes stretching out on the ground made for a really wonderful shopping seems pretty. Only when you're doing it with a woman. We had filled our bicycle baskets to the brim with our shopping bags. They only contained ingredients and various other foodstuffs. And so every last thing packed in sort of looked really happy and made me feel really happy in turn.
夕食の買い物ってのもおつなものだな。晩飯が楽しみになるっていうか、待ち遠しくなるっていうか。
それもまた自炊の楽しみですよ。お買い物のうちからもう夕食は始まっているんですもの。
野菜炒め楽しみだな。うちのお袋のメニューにはさ、野菜炒めってないんだよ。だから中華屋で外食するときくらいにしか食べられないんで、今日は本当に楽しみなんだよ。
ああ。
それはお気の毒でございますこと。では今日は特別に美味しいのをご披露して差し上げましたよ。
Normally, right about now, was the time I would start messing with. But I didn't.
ああ、さとこならきっとうまい野菜炒めを作ってくれる。すごく楽しみだよ。
She stammered for a second. Sataka had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then, too. And when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason, I don't know. I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad.
とびきり美味しいのをごちそうしましたよ。楽しみにして遊ばせ。
Satako and I rode back on our bikes and I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Satako right away if she... But that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satoko too. Hi Nagels, it's been a while now, hasn't it? I'm really glad to have you here. Hopefully you'll enjoy your stay. Satoko, who I thought I knew, hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing, little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship became a little bit happier, more charming. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely and projected her older brother Satoshi, who hadn't returned home? Higurashi told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions drew closer to Satoshi's, Satoko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. In other words, this Satoko was the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I'd been playing the role of her brother, I'd discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hojo. I was Keiichi Maebara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. I could become close, but I could never really get there. That was vaguely, somehow, a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satoko's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts.
どうしましたの、ケイチさん。
ごめん、なんでもないよ。
なんでもないならそんな変なことしないでくださいませね。何か悪いものでも食べたんじゃないかと不安になってしまいますわ。
Hey, hey.
How
ごめんよ、
adorable.
サトコ。
Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey Keiichi Maebara, why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about it when that happens. There was one thing, however, that I could say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. So as long as I stay this way, this tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not her real brother so I can't become Satoshi, that was just an excuse. If I just didn't run away, Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi or what made him abandon Satoko and run away, but just seeing Satoko in such a good mood made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi, I would become a replacement brother. How adorable.
そうそう。俺はこういう野菜炒めを期待してたんだよ。うまい。実にうまい。この塩コショウ味のお汁がいいんだよな。実にご飯が進む。
ほらほら、ケイチさん。こぼしてますわよ。
Okay, let me just really quickly add flavor to my food. Some chili. Or actually this isn't chili, but it's close enough. This is actually better than chili. It's quite a bit hotter. I'm gonna show this once it's ready. This is something that has, if I remember correctly, this has close to 9,000 Scotch wheel heat units. So it is rather hot. Not the hottest I've ever eaten. And I won't have any problems eating this, but it's just enough to get me feeling some good. That good stuff. Oh yes, that looks marvelous. Sorry, but I need to stir this for a few seconds. You can just chill to the music for a second. Higurashi has a lot of wonderful music, so it's quite good. Okay, that should be.
そんなに焦って食べなくてもご飯は逃げませんのよ。
Now to add the flakes.
いや逃げるぞ。出来たてほやほやの最高の味はできた瞬間からどんどん逃げていくんだ。
Okay.
サトコが100を美味しく作ったものなら俺はその100を丸々味わう義務がある。
Okay, this should be ready. Do you wanna do you wanna see what I made? It's just simple noodles, but I'll show it just because it looks quite delicious. I know I'm a heretic for eating it with a fork, but we don't have chopsticks, so that is unfortunate. As you can see, it has quite a lot of, shall we say, color to it. It's honestly quite hot, but that's exactly the way I like it.
それがクーガーのマナーってもんだ。
It's already quite warm in here, but get
そ
hot.
れはお気持ちだけで十分ですわ。ですからもっと落ち着いてご飯をお食べなさいませ。
That's an annoying laughter. Oh well. Doesn't matter, I also have food. Death hype. I don't.
そうだな。悪い悪い。
That's not cooking. I merely added hot water. No insults here. I meekly scratched my head and then put my chopsticks and laughed along with her like it was funny. Put down my chopsticks. Whatever. I ended up doing most of the eating. Satoko was barely taking a bite. She seemed satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me really happy as well. The time passed, softly and gently. Before, I would have gone back and forth hurling insults with Satoko. In other words, we would have gotten into a fight right away. I'd never known I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly. I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of trap into this.
がっつきすぎた。ちょっとトイレに行ってくるぞ。
ちょっとケイチさん、お食事の最中におトイレに行くのはマナー違反ですわよ。
じゃあなんて言えばいいんだ？接近か？川屋か？お便所か？
Lavatory. Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go already. Oops, my old habit seemed to have come back. But yeah, this wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. And while having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom. Ugh, my foot caught on something string-like. Huh? Bang, kerslam. Yeah. Rattle, rattle.
やかん？たらい？さとこ！
She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. I can't relax for a minute around her. It was kind of funny. I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satako, laughing uproariously, came over me.
ほらねほらね、そろそろ引っかかってくれる頃だと思いましたわ。
まったくこいつは
Why, you little...
ちょっと気を許すとこれだもんな。
I picked up the wash tubs that had crashed into my head and went to go to hit Satako with it. But then I doubled over with the laughter that was being welling up within me, so I couldn't manage it. I wished things could go on forever like this. Okay, now it's time for me to take a bite. Ah, that's quite spicy. It's not like I was having the most fun since coming to Hinamizawa or anything, but it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much. It was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we washed, with the experienced Satako doing most of the work as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. The scene was so commonplace, and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too, in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey wait, Keiichi Maibara. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I mean, what's the worst that could happen? Everybody would die around me? Jeez. I don't know what you're so paranoid about. I'd do anything to keep these days going, and I would never do anything bad. No matter what. I'd work hard for it, and endure much for it. So God. It's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep going on, but can't you grant it?
あら、あれは電話の音ではありませんのこんな夜更けに誰でございましょう。
え
Yeah, why so paranoid? It's a completely happy game. About happiness. I completely forgot to put those back.
あ、本当だ。
I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up, then ran to the phone. Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel a little like the telephone had interrupted my happy moment. But I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side.
もしもし。はい、前原です。
もしもしケイチお母さんだけど。
あ、なんだ、母さんか。
This actually just makes the spiciness worse.
何？こんな時間に。
That was a little cold of me when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile.
その様子だと特にトラブルもなく生活できてるみたいね。母さん、ケイチがご飯を作れなくてひもじくて寝込んでるんじゃないかと心配してたわ。
まあね、なんとかおかげで。
ご飯はちゃんと作れてる？ 今夜は何を食べたの？
へへ、野菜炒めとご飯と味噌汁だよ。スーパーでいろいろとお惣菜を買ったから、何気におかずも豊富でさ。そう
Just
そう
for
聞い
fun.
てよ。豚肉なんかちゃんとタイムサービスを利用して、へへ、主婦の知恵っていうのかな。それから。
All of that was thanks to Satoko. Not something I should be proud about. Still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. Seemed like Mom got the hint that I was in a really good mood.
そう。しっかりやれていて、母さん本当に安心したわ。そうそう、それでね、お父さんとお母さんの仕事がなんとか終わったの。明日の昼か夜には帰れると思うから。
ああ、そうなんだ。
二晩、よく頑張ったわね。こっちも二晩ほとんど徹夜でね。大変だったけど、なんとか先生のイベントは穴を開けずに済みそうよ。
うん、よかったね。
Cool. That's good.
お疲れ。
Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing? A little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily. It was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo, and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver and Satoko appeared, having finished cleaning up her trap. At first Satoko was in a very good mood, but when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. Seemed like she had gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about.
圭一さんのご両親からですの？
ああ、明日には帰ってくるってさ。
あら、それは良かったですわね。明日のお夕食の面倒はもう見なくていいわけでございますものね。
Oh, you.
家族で水入らずの食卓を囲みなさいませ。
そんなことないよ。また明日からまた無味乾燥な食卓かと思うと、なんだか寂しいよ。
何を贅沢言ってますの。家族みんなで囲む食卓が一番楽しいに決まってますわ。
Her brother, Satoshi, running away from home came to mind immediately. But there was no gloom in the other way she said it.
私も昨日今日と2日間でしたけど、とても楽しいお夕食を取らせていただきましたわ。
ならさ、今度は俺から聡子の家に遊びに行くよ。
え？
Satoko momentarily made a happy smile, but then a second later it changed to an expression of surprise.
うちは狭くて汚いですわよ。
So are you, Satoko. You are small and dirty.
お台所もこんなに立派ではありませんし。
俺は別に気にしないぜ。でも聡子が嫌なら遠慮してもいいよ。
Satoko shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial.
それに俺、聡子にはまだまだいろいろと教えてもらわないとな。
Let me just take a bite once again. Some good stuff.
ようやく炊飯器の使い方と味噌汁の作り方を覚えた程度だし。
Oh, that.
それもそうですわね。これを機会に圭一さんにお料理をお勉強してもらうのもいいかもしれませんわね。
It was so like Satoko to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake. But there was no way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. Sorry, I sneezed really hard. Oh boy, that was kind of painful. Uh-oh. Okay, I think it's over. Sorry about that. That was rather painful, actually. Oh, I shouldn't scratch my eyes. That is the devil's spice. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go wash my eye.